Most of your worst trades happen before you even take them. Before the bell rings, before a single candle prints, the loss is already loaded. And almost nobody sees it happening.
Wait, hold on. You're saying the trade is decided before I open the chart? That sounds a little dramatic.
It does, but it's not. Think about what you actually do in the first 5 minutes of your trading day. You're not reading the market yet. You're reading your own mood, and you don't even realize it.
Okay, so walk me through it. What's really going on in those first 5 minutes?
Your brain wakes up looking for a feeling, not a setup. Maybe you slept badly. Maybe you're still stewing over yesterday's loss. That emotional baseline becomes the lens you see every chart through for the rest of the session.
So the chart hasn't changed, but the person reading it has. The same exact setup could look like a gift or a trap depending on how I woke up.
Exactly. Researchers call it the effect heuristic. When we feel good, we judge risks as low and rewards as high. When we feel bad, we do the reverse. Your emotional state literally rewrites the math of the trade.
That's kind of terrifying. So if I roll in feeling invincible, I'm secretly inflating every reward and shrinking every danger?
That's the overconfidence trap. The trader who closed 3 winners yesterday wakes up feeling bulletproof. They size up. They skip the checklist. They take the marginal setup they'd normally pass. And the market doesn't care how they feel.
And the flip side, the guy who got crushed yesterday?
He wakes up with revenge in his chest. He's not trying to trade the market anymore. He's trying to get even with it. That's the single most expensive emotion in trading, and it's fully loaded before the open.
So both the winner and the loser from yesterday are walking in compromised. Just in opposite directions.
Right. And here's the part that really stings, neither of them feels emotional. They both feel completely rational. The winner calls it conviction. The loser calls it determination. Emotion always disguises itself as logic.
That's the trap, isn't it? We think we left our feelings at the door, but they snuck in and grabbed the steering wheel.
And they grabbed it early. Studies on decision fatigue show our first decisions of the day anchor the ones that follow. Your opening emotional state sets a risk appetite, a thermostat, for the entire session.
A risk thermostat. I like that. So if it's cranked up at 9 a.m., every trade after runs hot, even the ones that should be calm.
That's it. And this is why the classic pre-market routine can actually backfire. People think scanning news and watching futures gets them ready. But often it just amplifies whatever mood they already brought in.
Wait, so the routine itself is the trap? I always thought more prep was better.
More prep on the charts, sure. But if you're anxious and you spend 5 minutes doom scrolling red headlines, you've just confirmed your fear and called it research. You found evidence for the feeling you walked in with.
That's confirmation bias hijacking the warm-up. So what do we actually do about it? You can't just tell someone to stop feeling things.
No, but you can measure it. Before you touch a chart, rate your own state. 1 to 10 on energy. 1 to 10 on calm. Name yesterday's result out loud. You're not fixing the emotion, you're making it visible.
Because the dangerous emotion is the invisible one. Once I admit I'm running hot, it loses some of its grip.
Exactly. The pros do a version of this constantly. They'll literally cut their position size in half on a day they feel off. Not because the setups are worse, because the reader is worse.
So the position size becomes a buffer against your own psychology, not just against the market.
That's the whole game. Risk management isn't only about stop losses and percentages. It's about recognizing that the most volatile asset on the screen is you. And you reprice yourself every single morning.
I love that. The most volatile asset is the trader. So the first 5 minutes aren't about predicting the market. They're about auditing yourself.
Audit first, trade second. Ask, what mood am I importing? What is it secretly telling me about risk? Because if you skip that question, the answer still runs your account, you just never get to vote on it.
So the takeaway is brutal but simple. You don't lose the trade in the moment you click. You lose it in the mood you carried in. Catch the mood, and you catch the loss before it's born.
Beautifully put. The chart is honest. The danger is the story you bring to it. Spend your first 5 minutes on the trader, not the ticker, and everything downstream gets cleaner.